information in to Jessica.
Oh, she has it.
So, I mean, we can get it in, start getting it in, but it's really early, so I don't want to.
Yeah, and actually, on the 16th of February, we have a article which Jessica had published. I noticed the last e-newsletter, it wasn't in there.
Okay, check in with her on it, because she. I don't think she will be, but you can always call her, and she can't do anything with it now. Shabbat started.
I shouldn't mention anything about it on Shabbat.
I was gonna say, well, she won't remember it. You're better to just call in or send her an email and say, can you please start running for February, especially. Yeah, March we've got a little time. So, well, maybe just when we got a lot going on. Yeah. Yep. Okay. We'll get it. No problem. Yeah, we're working on you know, we got lots of stuff going on, so it's lots of fun.
Question, Rabbi Will, if you need anybody to speak for your
Thank you. That's very kind. I always appreciate that. Thank you. You look very pretty tonight. Look at you with the hat.
Yeah, I swear to God,
It's great.
I'm in love with the little brooch you have on.
Yeah, it's beautiful. All right. Guys, Jonah. If you want, you can stand off in the back with Phil, because then I'll will come in and just take you guys home. Okay? You want to stand back in the back with Phil when he gets back there, okay? He's back there in a minute. What? She doesn't have to wear it tonight. Joshua, move away. Move away.
magnifying glass.
Is that yours?
I think it's my mom's.
Okay, yeah, well, we best put that back. So
I don't know why she
smudge
keeps
it.
it back.
Oh, feel good,
Well,
then you'll join me.
to read some small text.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Touch that.
That's exactly what I was gonna ask. All right, guys, go in the back. You need to be some ushers for us. Go be an usher in the back.
Put that back, please. Joshua, let's put that back.
It's old.
Yes, I know. It's what I just brought in. Thank you. I keep refilling it. It's fine. Thank you. All right, Jen, we're ready. You're gonna.
Yeah, thank you. I found it at Macy's yesterday. Yeah, found these yesterday, actually. They're pretty comfortable. Surprisingly good.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Are we not here in our 4 weeks? So it's you and me, kid. Extra job. Thank you.
Ima,
All right, so
Sorry, someone was waving at me.
Ima, testing 1, 2, 3.
I'm gonna ask you one more time to go down, please. Go down.
Okay,
please,
guys.
With Phil and be an usher for me.
Guys, please, it's not run around or anything.
No,
We're
they're
about
going.
to
They're
start.
going there. They're leaving. They're leaving it. No worries. No worries. They're leaving in 5 minutes. Here, let me talk to you real quick. Their dad's waiting for me 5 minutes. So you can help me with the stuff we have to help you with. You can sit up here and we're gonna do candles. And after candles, you can go down and do it for dad.
Oh, that's
Unless you want to sit up here.
Oh, if
And then I'm gonna get you back up in a second.
yeah, okay, so I'm probably gonna sit down here.
So it's up to you if you want to sit here by
I'm
yourself.
it's probably gonna be best if I sit up here because
What was that?
it's gonna be convenient. Yeah.
That's fine with me. I just want to let you know you have a long time to sit up here.
Yeah.
Without doing it. Other than saying.
I know. Yeah.
Good, excellent.
It's a nice chair.
Awesome. I'm happy. Most people don't want to. So you'll keep me company. I love that.
I'll just sit like
No clue what this is. All right. Well, Shabbat Shalom. And I know you notice there's no piano player, nor is there any percussion. Well, unfortunately, we had some illness, so that's our reason. So you're stuck with me. So you know what that means? That means you're going to help me out, right? Yes. Because I can't. There's no way I can meet the singing ability of Arlene or of Orit. But Jennifer probably can, but she's going to help me out a little bit tonight. So we're going to celebrate her bat mitzvah, and she's going to be leading us parts of the service tonight, helping me out. So I am thrilled I have a partner. Otherwise, it would just be me, and you'd be stuck with just me. So we may do things a little bit different than normal, because I don't sing all the same tunes that our wonderful singers and musicians and daveners do. But we will join and bring Shabbat in appropriately tonight together. So if you'll turn to page 4, you'll find our bracha for our blessing. We'll get to that in a second, actually. But if you don't mind joining with me, and I have my little guys in the back for just a few more minutes. So you guys sing from the back because you know this one. Ready? And I think you know this one too, Jen. This is an oldie but a goodie. Are you ready? Bim bam bim 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 bam bim 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 bam bim bam bim bam bim bam bim 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 bam bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. If you'll turn to page 5 at the bottom, there you will find Shalom Aleichem, our hymn that welcomes in Shabbat, with the ministering angels embracing the spirit of Shabbat, bringing it to us, coming in peace and blessing us with shalom. Bottom of 5, we join together. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We turn back to page 4. There you will find the bracha for lighting the candles, Hadlakat Neirot. We see light as a form of celebration, as a way of welcoming in the spirit, certainly of Shabbat and any of our holidays. And we use light to say goodbye to those holidays too with Havdalah. But here on the bottom of 4, you'll find the bracha for our blessing for Shabbat. As Jennifer, if you will come help, you'll stand over here by our candles. And since sundown just hit a few minutes ago, we went ahead and lit the candles ahead of time. And I'll ask if the congregation can please rise, and we will join together. That's what we're going to do when it's time. We know how to do that. Not yet. So we join together as we bring that spirit of Shabbat to us. 3 times is the custom, as we cover our eyes, and when we open up our eyes, we've welcomed in the Sabbath. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. We say Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. There you go. You are welcome to be seated. I'm so glad I have Jen. I said, you have a choice. You can go and sit back down, or you can stay up here and keep me company. And she said, I'll stay up here and keep you company. I love it. I appreciate it greatly. We'll turn to page 11 as you'll find the formal beginning of Kabbalat Shabbat. Kabbalat Shabbat is really just a series of psalms that kind of get the ruach, get the spirit of the Sabbath going for us. Page 11. Lechu nirhanena, lechu nirhanena, lechu nirhanena l'Adonai. Lechu nirhanena, lechu nirhanena, lechu nirhanena l'Adonai. Naria, naria, litzur yishenu, nekadma fana bitoda. Naria, naria, litzur yishenu, bizmirak naria lo. Lechu nirhanena, lechu nirhanena, lechu nirhanena l'Adonai. Lechu nirhanena, lechu nirhanena, lechu nirhanena l'Adonai. Ki el gadol Adonai melech gadol al kol ha'elohim, asher b'yado mechkarei haaretz v'tavot. V'yom b'kol ha'omer. You'll find the conclusion of the psalm on page 12. Arba'im shana kut bedor va'omar am to'el v'avhem v'hem lo yadu drachai asher nishbati v'yapi im yevon el menuchati. Page 14, you'll find the end of the 96th Psalm, the words Yismechu Hashamayim. This isn't one we sing every week, but it is a wonderful song that comes out of the Psalms. The heavens shall be glad, the earth rejoice, the sea is in its fullness roar, the meadows and all that grows in them exult, even the trees of the forest shall sing praise to God. It is a wonderful end of a psalm that reminds us that all of nature sings God's praises, even as we do. It speaks of the celebration and the happiness of Shabbat. And I think tonight, the celebration and the happiness we share with Jennifer and her family as she becomes a bat mitzvah. So I hope you'll join with me by the little arrow on 14. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo, oh, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo, oh, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo. Lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel b'tzedek, v'yamim b'emunato. If you will turn over to page 20, there you'll find the words Romamu, the concluding verses of Psalm 99. We think of ourselves as raising ourselves up in our Shabbat celebration, in our celebration of special life cycle moments, as we do with Jennifer this weekend, as we join together the last three lines, page 20. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. I'll get a little faster. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. If you'll turn to page 21, there you'll find Psalm 29, our psalm that reminds us that it is important to listen for the voice of God, and that we feel that and we hear that voice of God all around us in so many different ways if we're willing to listen, if we're willing to pay our attention to that small, still small voice in the world that is indeed holy. Page 21, we rise as we join together. Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, havu l'Adonai kavod Kivod Shemo, Ishtachavu Ladonai Behadrat Kodesh, Kol Adonai Al Hamayim, El HaKavod Hirim, Adonai Al Maim Rabim, Kol Adonai Bakoach, Kol Adonai Behadar, Kol Adonai Shover Arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et Arzei Halvanon, Vayarkiden Kemo Hegel, Levanon Mesiryon, Kimoven Re'emim, Kol Adonai Chotzef Lavotesh, Kol Adonai Yachiel Midbar, Yachiel Adonai Midbar Kadesh, Kol Adonai Yecholel Ayalot, Vayechesof Yeharot, Uvechalo Kulo Omer Kavod, Adonai Lama Bu Yashav, Vayeshev Adonai Melech Leolam, Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitain, Adonai Yevarech et Amo Vashalom. You are welcome to be seated. Page 23, you'll find Lechado D, our hymn that welcomes in Shabbat as a bride or a queen into our midst. I was just complimenting Jennifer on how beautiful her dress was. That's very queen and very bride-like. It's beautiful, perfect for the occasion, perfect for welcoming in Shabbat. When we get to the last verse, we will literally rise, stand up, and face the entrance. The mystics have the custom of actually going outside the walls of the synagogue or the sanctuary, welcoming in Shabbat. As they walk out, we do a similar custom where we stand up, we face the door as we welcome in, figuratively at least, the spirit, if you will, of Shabbat as the bride or queen would walk into our midst as we honor Shabbat. So page 23, we'll do the first two verses together, and then the last two verses on 25, and I'll give you the signal of when to stand up for that last verse. So page 23. Lechadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmianu el hamyochad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha, lecha, dodi, dodi, lecha, dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechuven elcha, Ki mekor haberacha, Mehirosh mikedem nesucha, Sof maseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha, lecha, dodi, dodi, lecha, dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha, dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Middle of 25. Yaminu semo tifrotzi, V'et Adonai taritzi al yadish, ben partzi nismecha v'nagila. Lecha, lecha, dodi, dodi, lecha, dodi, likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha, dodi, likrat kala. We rise and face the door. Penei Shabbat nikavela. Last verse. B'hoi v'shalom ateret bala. Tam b'simcha u'v'tzola. Toch emunei am segula. B'hoi chala, b'hoi chala. Lecha dodi, dodi. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nikavela. You are welcome to be seated. Page 27, you'll find the psalm for Shabbat. Each day has a psalm associated with it. And you'll find the psalm for Shabbat, Psalm 92, on the top of 27 as we join together. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodod la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodod la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chasdecha, ve'emunatecha b'leilot, alei hasor v'alei navel, alei gayon bechinor. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodod la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Ki simachtani Adonai b'fo'alecha, b'maaseh yadecha ronein. Magadu masecha Adonai, me'od amku machshevotecha. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodod la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Ishba'ar lo yeda uchzel lo yavin etzot, bifroch r'shayim k'moesav. Page 28, we join together where you see the little red carrot, tzaddik katamar, the righteous flourish like a date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. We join together. Tzaddik katamar yifrach, ke'erez balevanon yizkeh, shetulim beveit Adonai, bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu, od yenuvun beseva, deshenim verananim yiyu lehagid, ki yashar Adonai, tzuri, tzuri, velo avlatabo. Page 29. Adonai malach geud lavesh, lavesh Adonai os hitazar, Afti kontevel baltimot. Edo techanemnu meod lehevetcha nava kodesh Adonai leorech yamim. You'll find Kaddish Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish, which concludes our Kabbalat Shabbat service. We'll go into Mariv in just a few minutes, but Kaddish Tome, our Mourner's Kaddish, our moment of remembering and memory. Page 30, those reciting, you're welcome to rise and join with me. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah v'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam v'lomei olmaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'rechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Those standing, you're welcome to be seated. We'll take a couple of moments to talk a little bit about our parashah for this week. Jennifer knows it well. She knows the name is Mishpatim.
Oh,
Right?
Mishpatim, yeah.
Yeah, she knows that. Mishpatim. Right.
For a
that.
second I was confused. I was like, wait, what? My head just kind of went blank for a second. What is happening to me today?
It's okay. I think you're just fine. So let me share with you a story that I think connects to our parashah for today. We'll talk about it for a second. Take this off for just a minute. So here's a story from one of my rabbis, Rabbi Ed Feinstein, who is actually at Valley Beth Shalom in Los Angeles, and I was the good fortune of having him as a camp director and later on as a teacher in rabbinical school. So among those who left Egypt, there were two, Beryl and Shmerel. So now you know this is going to be something fun, right? As slaves, these two had grown so accustomed to looking down at the ground, they could no longer lift their eyes. And so, when Moses brought the Israelites across the Red Sea, Beryl asked Shmerel, "What do you see?" "I see mud," Shmerel responded. "I see mud too. What's all this about freedom? We had mud in Egypt. We have mud here." Well, when the Israelites stood at Mount Sinai, Shmerel asked Beryl, "What do you hear?" "I hear someone shouting commands," he answered. "I hear commands too. What's all this about Torah? They shouted commands in Egypt. They shout commands here." Finally, after 40 years, when Israel arrived at the Promised Land, Beryl asked Shmerel, or it could have been that Shmerel asked Beryl, we're really not sure, "How do you feel?" "My feet hurt," he replied. "My feet hurt too. What's all this about a promised land? My feet hurt in Egypt. My feet hurt here too." What's the message of the story? Well, we can remove the external chains of slavery, but that doesn't really make a person free. The body can be unfettered, but the mind, the thoughts, sometimes remain in bondage. A few weeks ago, we celebrated Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and in one of his last sermons, he declared the following: "One of the great liabilities of life is that all too many people find themselves living amid a great period of social change, and yet they fail to develop the new attitudes, the new mental responses that the new situation demands. They end up sleeping through a revolution." I love that last part especially. They end up sleeping through a revolution. In the Torah, the revolution of freedom comes in two parts. It comes from the Exodus from Egyptian slavery, and the revelation of law on Mount Sinai. The question is, why law? Well, law seems to be a very odd place to find freedom and spirituality. Think about it. What do we often think about law? As constricting, right? As bringing us into something, to behavior that we have to conform to. And sometimes if you're, anybody a lawyer out here? Who's a lawyer? Somebody's got to be a lawyer out. No lawyers out here? Really? Oh, somebody out there watching is a lawyer, I'm guarantee it. Or will one day be one. Nah, you're going to be an artist. We know that. Law seems to be a very odd place again, because law can be technical and dry. Anyone who's tried to study for the bar exam, I know this. I didn't do it, but I know friends who have. It's hard. It's about, it can often be about conflict and about confrontation, law is. It can be seen as the best way to restrain the lowest or the most potentially destructive parts of our human nature. Yes, we all want to get on a Porsche, and we all want to get on 1604, and we all want to drive 150 miles an hour down the road. But we know the law tells us not to. Why? Because we're trying to make sure that not only are we safe, but obviously the people around us. In modern Western culture, law is an instrument for achieving social order. And simply put, it is a way to keep us from destroying one another. Now, we know that Jewish law is very different in its purpose and in nature. And Parashat Mishpatim, the portion that we study this Shabbat, is a collection of what Rabbi Sidney Greenberg likes to call, and I used this with you, Jennifer, when we studied together, little laws. Remember that? We talked about little laws. It's a listing of individual teachings which pertain to living every day. Wounds inflicted during arguments, gossiping, things we all do, right? Oxen that gore, or in modern times we might say a dog that bites someone else, right? Bites the mailman as he's walking by. Livestock which graze in a neighbor's field, treatment of slaves, or even losing property. Consider two verses from our reading for this Shabbat. You shall not wrong a stranger or oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. That's one of the mitzvot. That's one of the laws. If you take your neighbor's garment in pledge, so you're taking a pledge, they say, oh, here, take my cloak, take my coat. You must return it to him before the sun sets. It is his only clothing. If this is what he gave you as a surety for the act or the loan, then obviously that's about all he has to give you. Then he needs it. It's the sole covering for his skin, says the book of Exodus. In what else shall he sleep if you take his clothing? So you must give it back when the sun sets. Now, if you look at the wording, and if you study the subsequent legal codes that are derived from these very simple laws, it's clear that the law requires care and respect for the poor and for the homeless, for the stranger, right? But it doesn't say that the poor have a right to these things. It isn't an entitlement program. That's not actually what the Torah is teaching. It says you have an obligation based on values of compassion and justice. You were strangers in the land. You know what it's like to be a stranger. You know what it's like to be oppressed. Don't do it. And then it's up to us to figure out through our tradition, what does that mean? If you take your neighbor's garment in a pledge, you have to return it because he needs it. Obviously, he needs it. If he's borrowing something from you, he's putting this up as his collateral or his loan, his down payment, give it back to him. It's a value of compassion and justice. It's a mitzvah. It's a commandment that's placed upon us, not a right that is given. You're obligated because you're part of a covenant with God that demands such behavior. And that's the Jewish view of law. So these little laws, along with so many others in our portion and in last week's reading when we read the Ten Commandments, and of course throughout the Torah, speaks not to the lowest in us, not to the basest instincts we have necessarily, but how to act towards the highest within us. The purpose of law in the Torah is to cultivate the holy, the compassionate, the just, the sensitive inside of us, to bring out what I like to say is the divine that exists within us. For as Jews, law stands at the intersection between what is and what really should be. Law is not a punishment, it's about education. because we have drives, and because we often forget who we're supposed to be, and because we have this great ability to rationalize our behavior or our attitudes. Why? Because we are human beings, and we need laws, we need guidance to guide us. Law is the strongest possible confirmation that we have godliness in us, and that we have the capacity to live a life of holiness. There's a 19th century American Episcopal preacher named Philip Brooks who wrote the following, and I'll quote him. It's a long quote, but it's a wonderful quote. "The great danger facing all of us is not that we shall make an absolute failure of our life, nor that we shall fall into outright viciousness, nor that we shall be terribly unhappy, nor that we shall feel that life has no meaning. The danger is that we shall fail to perceive life's greatest meaning, fall short of its highest good, miss its deepest and most abiding happiness, be unable to tend to the most needed service, be unconscious of life ablaze with the light of the presence of God, and be content to have it so. The danger is that we will wake up to find we've missed life itself, satisfied too soon with too little, with a life that falls short of the best." Love that quote. Through the laws of the Torah, through the observance of our mitzvot, through the values we're taught to make a part of our behavior, to frame how we act and how we think and how we are, may we strive to reach only for the best, for the holy, and most certainly for the godly in life. And together we say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Hope you'll keep that in mind as we study this parashah. And tomorrow Jennifer will be teaching us, mentioning specifically one of those little laws. I'm not going to give it out. She'll teach it to us tomorrow, and we'll be seeing more specifics tomorrow. But this is a wonderful parashah to remind ourselves that law is really much more than just a bunch of rules that we have to follow. It really is a guide for adding holiness and bringing the holy, bringing God into our lives as we interact with God and with the world around us, with the people around us. So keep that in mind as we go forward into our evening service, and you'll find page 39A, the beginning of our evening service tonight. Now ask if you're able to rise as we join together in Baruch Hu. Help me over here. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. You may be seated. Umavir yom umevi laila umavdil ben yom uve laila Adonai tzavot shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Amari Varavim. We join together in the singing of Ahavat Olam, page 40. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amchavta Torah mitzvot chukim umishpatim otanu limadeta Alkein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachmeinu v'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayeinu v'orech yameinu u'vahem negei yom v'layla ki hem chayeinu v'orech yameinu u'vahem negei yom v'layla ki hem chayeinu v'orech yameinu u'vahem negei yom v'layla ki hem chayeinu v'orech yameinu u'vahem negei yom v'layla v'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Page 41.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol lavcha u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol me'adecha, ve'hayu הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום לבניך ושיננת לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
We join together in the English on the left side of page 41. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all that is yours. These words that I command you this day shall be taken to heart. Teach them again and again to your children. Speak of them when you sit in your home, when you walk on your way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a symbol above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. We continue over on page 44. 44, you'll find in the bold print the words Mi Chamocha. We saw them last week as we crossed the Red Sea, as Miriam took us into dancing and celebrating of our exodus from Egypt. These are those very words we joined together in the middle of 44. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh nora, nora tehilot, osef eleh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh nora, nora tehilot, Osech Adonai imo le'olam va'ed. Adonai imo le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, Norah, Norah, Norah Tehillah, Osech Eleh, Osech Eleh, Osech Eleh. V'ne'emar ki fad Adonai et Yaakov, u'galo mi'ad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Amen. On page 45, you'll find our tefillah for peace as we go to sleep at night, as we hope to awaken to a brighter tomorrow, our Hashkivenu prayer. We join together in page 45 in the English, on the English side together. Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. In the Hebrew on 45 by the arrow. Ushmar teitenu uvoenu, lechayim u'shalom yata v'yad olam, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Page 46, you'll find the passage from Exodus. It reminds us of the covenant we share with God through the observance of Shabbat. We join together as Jen helps out in the singing of Vishamru. We rise. 1, 2, 3, go. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorot haberit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorot for Chatzi Kaddish on page 46.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah V'yamar dirang yidutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechonu v'yomecho v'chayedecho v'Yisrael V'gala v'gala Ubizman karit v'yimeru amen Yehesh me'raba mevorah le'olam olam ve'yamaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudesha erichu le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nehemata damiran v'yama v'yimeru amen.
You'll find the silent Amidah for this evening beginning page 47 through 52. As always, feel free to use this time for your own personal thoughts and meditations. And when you are through, you are welcome to be seated. Page 47. We're on the bottom of 52.
Shalom Ibruma Uyasa Shalom Aleinu He'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen Yasa Shalom Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Yaseh Shalom Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Beru Amen.
If you'll turn over forward in your Siddur to page 173, there you will find our Misha Berach for healing. And as we do each Friday night, we think about this tefillah, this prayer, as a way to add special prayers to our Amidah that we just recited, certainly, and also as a way to give healing, we hope, to those who are in need, whether it be physical, emotional, spiritual, and certainly in this time of COVID, to those who are afflicted with COVID. And we certainly think of Arlene tonight, who was supposed to be here to be davening. I know she's hopefully feeling better as well. So we keep in our thoughts all those who we know may be ill and may need extra prayers for healing. Page 173, we join together. Misheberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBaracha Lehimoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach Imoteinu Mekor HaBaracha Lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Refuah shlema. If you'll turn back in your Siddur to page 54, there you will find Kaddish Shalem as we join together, Jen and I. 54. Yitkara v'yitkara Shemei Rabbah, B'yoma divrach irutei, yavliv malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyamechon, u'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, b'agalav izman kariv v'imeru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam alav ve'amaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'elam mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amirat v'yalma v'yimeru. Amen. Titgalat saloton uva'uton Dechol Yisrael, Kodam Avuhon Divi Shemaya Ve'imeru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael Ve'imeru. Amen. Oseh Shalom Miromav, V'yaseh Shalom. Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael Ve'imeru. just said the good stuff. Yes, it is the good stuff.
I want this stuff. Bring it back.
It's much better than the Manischewitz sweet stuff that you can't drink anyway, right? Oh, it's good. We take a cup in hand on page 55. There you'll find Kiddush for Shabbat. As we toast Shabbat, certainly this week we toast Jennifer and her family as she becomes a bat mitzvah. It's a very special occasion, very special moment in her life, in the life of her family and extended family and friends, and in the life of our community as we welcome her in as a Jewish adult accepting the mitzvot. So tonight, as we lift that cup of sweetness, we toast Shabbat, we toast her, we toast our entire community together as we join. Page 55. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher letziyat mitzrayim ki Yotanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uvratzon hinachaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-shabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
Oh. Okay, we need to drink it.
We remain standing as we turn. You got it? As we turn to page 56, there you will find Aleinu as we join together. Yep, I got it. As Jennifer leads us. 1, 2, 3.
Aleinu l'shabeach v'avdon ha'chol l'anteit l'kirsha
Ser Breshit Shelo asanu kigoyei haratzot Velo samanu kamishbechot ha'adama Shelo sam chelkeinu kahem V'gahar aleinu kechol hamonam V'anachnu morim u'mishtachavim u'modim Lifnei malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehunat hashamayim ve'oser haaretz u'mosher yikara hashamayim imal u'shchinatu zo v'gohei meramim Eloheinu Endowed Eloheinu Levizlato Kadatu B'Torato V'yadata hayom V'hashemota Elevavecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim B'Shamayim V'Imal V'Yaretz Mitachat Einod
Okay.
Kakatu b'Toratecha Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz. Vayom ha'hu yeh Adonai echad. U'shemo echad. U'shemo echad. Wow.
Did I get that okay?
You are welcome to be seated. Sit down for a second. Grab mine. Jennifer said she was going to stay up here and help me out the whole time. I didn't know we were going to get to harmonize. Woo! That was awesome. I went low, you went high. That was awesome. If you can't tell, she's got a beautiful voice. You could hear it. Come back tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss her reading Torah. I guarantee it. And you're not going to want to miss her chanting part of the Haftarah. You're not going to want to miss tomorrow for sure. Not only do you have a beautiful voice, but she's got the ruach and the spirit for it too. That's what we want in all of our b'nai mitzvah. It's not about the voice. It's about the ruach and the wonderful feeling that we have with it. And certainly Jen has that and a voice to go with it. So it will continue to be a wonderful treat. I encourage you to make sure you come join us tomorrow morning, whether virtually or in person. As you turn to page 58, here again you'll find Mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish Atom. As we pause this evening, we offer our condolences to Wendy Brenman and the entire Brenman family on the death of Wendy's mom in Hawaii, actually. So she is still far from home here, and we keep in our thoughts Elaine Shapiro. I know that we will have an announcement out when we figure out details when Wendy will be traveling back, and then we will definitely have a minion from our community to give her support and her family support, and the kids as well. So just keep that in mind, and we will get that information out to you. We also today, as we're about to conclude actually the Shloshim, the 30-day mourning period for Myrna always. So we continue to give our hugs of support to Howard as he marks this 30th day in that mourning period, and we remember Myrna. We also remember the names of all those who are, we recite the names of all those who are observing Yortzeit, who we have Yortzeits for today. Clara Blucher, David Corey, Miriam Seaver Crane, Nathan Friedman, Keith Greenberg, Andar Yonaz, Melvin Kowalski, Sam Levine, Ronnie Lynn, Lillian Natishin, Milton Ozer, Esteban Perez, Samuel Raifman, Arthur Stiles, Jenny Tudson, Samuel Wernick, Leonard Winokur, Bernard Wolf, and Linda Wolf. Any other Yortzeits, I hope you will keep them in your thoughts as we rise. Anyone else that is reciting Kaddish Atom, please keep your loved ones in your thought as we rise on page 58. Those reciting, join with me. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah v'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Ulomei Omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Dekudisha B'richu La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'yalma v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. may be seated. Just a couple of brief announcements. I already told you need to be back here tomorrow morning. 9:15 is our Shabbat morning service begins, 9:15. There'll be Kiddush lunch following, and in honor of Jennifer, certainly. And I know the Bema flowers are sponsored by the family today. They're quite beautiful. So we thank you for that and enhancing our Bema today. And I want to thank Jennifer for helping me out. We are without our musicians and our wonderful daveners and singers this night, but I think, Jennifer, we did ourselves proud. Yes, we did. We did all right. And we thank you for helping and for adding spirit, those of you in the room, those of you watching from afar. Phil, as always, thank you for being an usher. You are always right-hand man to all of us, so we appreciate it. Join us again tomorrow morning, 9:15, Sunday morning at 9 a.m., and weekdays at 7:30 for Minyan. Just a couple of quick, brief announcements. Don't forget that we have started this past Wednesday my Turning Points in Jewish History class. It's not too late to join. We will be looking at the book and going through chapters of Turning Points in Jewish History by Mark Rosenstein. We're going to explore pivotal themes and issues from our history that continue to touch us today as Jews. If you weren't able to come this past Wednesday but are interested, just give Jessica a call in the office. She can give you the Zoom link and the details. Also, a couple of other things going on. The Social Action Chavurah invites you to TED Bishvat, not Tu Bishvat, TED Bishvat, which is Israeli Tips on the Tipping Point. This Thursday, February 3rd at 11:30 in the morning, join for a conversation about the need to find a solution and ways to protect the Earth's climate through a collaboration between scientists, technology experts, and activists from Israel. You can check your weekly email for the registration link. We had it in there on Wednesday, or if you missed that, it'll probably be in next Wednesdays as well, but you can email Jessica for the information. This is one of those things you can take your lunch hour at 11:30 at your desk and eat and learn, and it is... The invite comes from our new Social Action Chavurah, which has been busy doing lots of different activities here already in just the last few weeks. And this is one thing they want all of us to remember and know about, so you can join in. It's not too late to think about preschool spring break camp. If you have a preschooler, March 7th through 11th, I will tell you, slots fill up quickly. It's open to children 6 weeks old to rising second graders. It goes up to second grade for our spring break camp and our summertime, so you can join for a week full of fun and activities. February 28th is the deadline, so you have about a month to get it all in. I wouldn't wait, just making sure that there's spots for you. And then finally, Martin and Sarah Marcus Endowed Scholarship. This scholarship will be awarded to a graduating high school senior who's a member of Agudas to attend an accredited university, college, or vocational school. There is the availability to still apply for it. We've had this announcement a few weeks now, but don't miss out. It's a great opportunity to get some money for school and studying, sponsored by this Martin and Sarah Marcus Endowed Scholarship. So keep that in mind. And I know Debbie wanted me to mention it's a little far on the horizon. In March, you can put your dates down for March 4th is Friday night. Will be Kabbalat Shabbat, of course, and it will be Hadassah Shabbat. So we invite all members, certainly of Hadassah, but anyone to come enjoy and learn and celebrate Shabbat together with our members of Hadassah. So keep that in mind. That is coming. And we have a number of other Shabbatot coming up as well, that we will have a Sephardic and Ladino Shabbat coming up the week before the Hadassah Shabbat. That will be Friday and Saturday. We'll be joining with some melodies, some Sephardic melodies and customs, and learning a little bit more about Sephardic customs and songs. So keep that in mind for the Friday night before, and the Friday and Saturday before that. With that, we're going to conclude. So thank you all for grinning and bearing with me. And thanks, Jen, again for joining with us. And I hope you'll join us tomorrow, again at 9:15. We will turn to page 211 as we conclude this evening with a little bit of Adon Olam. Jen gets to pick the tune, but I think we probably already have one in mind. 211. As we join.
Actually, can I ask my sister to come up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sarah, I see you come up here. Sarah.
Sarah's going to do this tomorrow, so come practice with it tonight.
And you can bring your friend up too.
Come do it.
You can come up if you wanna. Nora, cut up here. Everyone give her a hand, please. Okay, never mind.
All right, come on up. Come on. You do it. Come be with your big sister here.
Say hello.
There we go.
Never mind.
All right, ready? We're going to conclude with Adon Olam, and it'll be a preview of tomorrow's Adon Olam, so you get some practice in here as we join together.
This is only
2:11.
half of the kids. This is only
1,
half of them.
2, 3, go. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, B'chem Kol. Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nara Adon Olam, V'hu Haya, V'hu Haveh, V'hu Yiyeh V'tifara Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Malach B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra. Le'ek nasa b'chem tokol, azai melech shemo nikra Adon Olam, v'hu echad v'yein sheni, le'am shelo le'achbira Adon Olam, v'li reishit, v'li tachlit, v'los v'hamisra Adon Olam, Asher Malach b'terem kol, Yitzir Nivra. Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Eli V'chayoli, V'tzor Chavli B'yetzara Adon Olam, V'hu Nisi Uman Osli, V'nat Kosi B'omekra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra. Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'yado Apkid Ruchi, V'yeti Sham V'ya'ira Adon Olam, V'im Ruchi Geviyati, Adon Malim Alo'ira Adon Olam, Asher Malach B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra. Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Can you help me? Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, hey, Shabbat, Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom, everyone. Have a great Shabbat, a great evening. Mazel tov.
I'm sorry. I hope you had fun.
Yeah. I don't think we had, are they outside? I didn't know we had anything tonight. Oh, okay. Well, there should be some refreshments outside then. They did not tell me that.
No, I know this. I thought Sarah knew this.
Jennifer, good job. Thank you. Thanks for helping me out. like to for some reason. There you go, blue and purple. That works.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your.
Walking around in these a lot.
So tonight, I just want you to go hang out with your family and friends, and enjoy yourself, and that's it.
All right.
Okay? Can you handle that part? Good. Glad to hear it.
I'm probably gonna have to go over my Haftarah again. I know my Torah by heart.
I know.
I just have to figure out my Haftarah. And then I gotta do it in 80 years.
Let's see if this is working.
I guess I'm going now, right?
Yeah, you can go. I'm proud of you. Thanks for helping me out.
Thank you. And you're welcome too.
Well,
I expect there to be a lot more people tomorrow because there's a lot of people coming.
okay.
A lot of kids that you probably have never seen before.
Okay, good. We'll get them if we can.
Say hi to you and all that kind of stuff.
All right, well, remember, it's 9:15 we start, so
Yeah.
go get some good night's sleep, okay?
I'll get my haircut early.
Okay, we'll get yourself here and we'll have some more fun.